Well, God wants the complete you before holy him. He wants all of you. We're not allowed to leave any part of us. No part of us should stay in the world's keeping, or in the flesh's service, or in the devil's domain. He wants us complete. And so when we come this morning before God, we need to bring all of us, including our tongues, with us too. And so let's talk about God's law for that part of us, our tongues. Hey, these things. Exodus 20:16, shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Leviticus 19:6, you shall not go about as a talebearer, gossip, among your people. Deuteronomy 23:23, that which has gone out from your lips you shall keep and perform. Psalm 34:13, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. James 3:1, let not many become teachers, knowing we receive a stricter judgment. James 3:10, out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be. Now, in looking at all of those commands from God, consider that verse in Romans 3:19, which says, now we know that whatever the law says, it says, ... that every mouth may be stopped. God is teaching us from the Old Testament to the New Testament the great art of saying less, because in many words, sin is not lacking. And why are we taught to say less? Because as James says this, quote, the tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature and is set on fire by hell. I mean, notice the parts but before us there. The tongue can ruin us. The tongue can change our life's course. And the tongue can be a matchstick of hellfire. We are in daily danger with our tongues. They can bring life, but they can bring so much more. We can scorch the people around us by words, or roast our relationships with a lot of blister talk, or make a nice thick layer of black carbonization to encrust our lives from angry tongues. Remember, when Isaiah stood before God, in that moment, his greatest fear was coming from here, right? I have unclean lips, and I come from a people of unclean lips. See, our tongues need as much saving as our souls. So whatever part of us needs to be saved, the Son of Man assumed that part in his manhood, which is why one of the great hopes that comes to you is from Isaiah's prophecy of Jesus Christ in Isaiah 50, where we hear him say, for it is the Lord speaking in this text, verse 4, the sovereign Lord has given me a well-instructed tongue to know the word that will sustain the weary. I have not been rebellious. I have not turned away. I have offered my back to those who beat me, and my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. Verse 8, who then will bring any charge against, as Paul puts it, God's elect? We need his purifying word. This reminds us of our need to confess. So hear this from Psalm 51. I acknowledge my transgressions. My sin is always before me.